Hey guys, this is Mysterious'GoofBall and welcome back to another episode. This is an episode for my cow farm and it's a couple clarifications, I don't know, you could, I guess, bug fixes, not really, but just a few updates for it. If you're having a few issues, there might be a few reasons why. Now, this is the original cow farm, which it still works. I'm in 1.13.1 right now, and it's still working. I was actually afraid 1.13 would break it, but it really hasn't. I will get to some stuff on 1.13 later, but this is the basic cow farm design. As you can see, it's still working great. All the stuff goes in there. This button works, and I could get some wheat and breathe in, which, you know, I'm going to get wheat in my inventory ahead of time. And so that's the original cow farm, and it still works. But there's a few things that I left out in my last video, some things I really needed to mention, and some things that I think might be useful. So you see this little weird thing here. This has a whole lot of stuff involved in it, but if we look here, there's these are like 5, I don't know if they've been the 5 biggest issues, but 5 of the main issues that people have had with my design. The first one has to do with the button. This button right here, for cows, it has to be a stone button. If it's a wooden buttons actually have a longer pulse. They'll stay pressed for a longer amount of time than a stone button. So you put a wooden button there, it'll have the lava dispense for a longer amount of time, and the cows will die in the lava and all the drops will be burned. That just has to do with how the design works with the observers and things. The next thing is, so you see here we got some stone bricks and we got some glass, and you can see here we got a lot of glass. So everywhere that there is glass, other than obviously the actual redstone parts, those blocks can be basically whatever. It could be glass like this, but every block that is diamond, it has to be a solid block. And so if you're having some issues where it doesn't seem like the lava's dispensing or anything like that, make sure all these blocks are solid blocks. So the block behind the button, blocks right behind these observers. Yeah, the observers, the block behind this button. So it's really only like 4 blocks. And then this one that's an iron block, it's kind of optional. It just needs to be a block that a piece of redstone can be placed on, which if I were to get a slab, you can see I can place the redstone. Oops. Well, I guess that did something. Sorry, cows. Well, that was something. So you can place redstone on a slab, and if I were to get an observer and place it there, and real quick, a lot of stuff. I get a button and I power it. The observer will put out an output. We can press that here. You see a little flash. So technically this doesn't have to be a solid block, although you can't place redstone on top of glass. So it has to be like semi-solid. It needs to be solid enough for redstone to be placed on top of it. And also another thing to make sure is that that block is filled up, which a slab will work, but it's better just to put a solid block. So that's that thing. That took a little longer than expected. Next thing is right here. Well, it's sort of goes with the last thing, but this is where I normally put a furnace. And the furnace isn't necessary, but if you do replace it, again, it needs to be a solid block. So that's basically all. And also this slab isn't necessary. It can be anything as long as it's, you know, it keeps them in. So it could be a piece of glass, it could be something transparent, or it could be a slab, which does not seem slab, but whatever. Last thing, I think. Nope, one more thing is the trapdoors that I have in like basically the 4 corners, they aren't necessary. You can put signs and they will work too. The signs here are just to make sure the lava doesn't like fall down onto the baby cows, and I put the trapdoors there to keep all the cows and stuff at the same level, because you can technically go down inside of a hopper. If I place it, you can see I can fall down into it, which makes me slightly lower, and it could cause some issues. Probably not, but it might. So you can replace it with signs. Signs will work too. If you put signs up here though, you won't have the fancy mechanism where if you were to get some levers. Put them here. You can't trap the cows in there. Keep the baby cows in there and sort of breed them all up until you get the number of cows. So you can't use that feature. But if you think that the trapdoors might be causing issues with like the cows not going out, they're getting stuck on them, or the baby cows are like constantly jumping, they might think they're on a full block and are trying to jump on that one. So try replacing with signs, and that could solve that issue. Last thing is spamming the button. Now you can get this out of sync, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's where, oh, what in the world? There we go. It's where you're not doing anything and the lava just stays out. And what can cause this is if you build it and you activate it and the lava dispenses and then it stays dispensed, when you press on the button, it'll do that. And so it's sort of like it's desynchronized. So the way to fix it is the easiest way, and probably the simplest way, is kind of just to get the buckets, you know, break the glass, break the block, and get the lava back in and put it back in. That's probably the easiest in some ways, but if you know how to do it, you can just spam the button again. So if you watch and listen, you'll hear I will spam the button and it'll click. I don't think you'll see anything, but it'll click, and that's a second press. You did see something. Oh, I didn't fix it though. I think I'm having some frame lag, which is causing issues. But you spam the button and you'll hear a click, and that's like the second press. You want to make sure you press that immediately after, and then you let go after the second sort of click, and that'll desynchronize it or synchronize it if it is desynchronized in the first place. It's complicated. That's why it's hard to explain. That's why I said it's probably easier just to get the buckets out and recollect the lava. But you know, I just thought I'd throw that in there. So that is all of the sort of the clarifications that I should have mentioned in the last video. Now we're going to get on to some problems and issues that I couldn't have mentioned in the last video even if I knew about them. So this is a 1.13 thing. You can't really see it because I put cows in there. I didn't think about that. I'll press the button, we can sort of see it. If you press this, you can sort of see there is a sign right there, right? And in 1.13 you can waterlog blocks, including signs. Now the reason I have the sign there, this is the only change that I've made to this farm in 1.13, and that's just because for some reason a few times when I've activated the lava, it'll like catch this furnace block on fire, and then all the breeder cows will die. And I don't really know why. It's something weird in 1.13. I never noticed it in 1.12. It's happened twice in 1.13, which I've actually been able to catch it on camera a few times, I think. And so if you put the sign there, you can't catch that block on fire. You just can't. And so the sign can be waterlogged, and the dispenser still works with that. So everything works the same. It's just it can't catch on fire now. So that's kind of handy, I guess. That will not work on any version below 1.13. And also this farm probably won't work in some of the snapshots of 1.13. Although I don't know why you'd be playing in that version. Just because of how some of the water mechanics worked, I think. So just thought I'd mention that. So now we're going to get on to a few things that are a little bit harder to test for me. These are some designs for a console, and I've sort of replicated what I've got here. So this is the design I've got. It's basically just one block wider, and there were a few people that had problems with their cows breeding where it seemed like they just wouldn't breed. They would see the hearts and stuff, and there was one thing that always worked to fix that, and that's just giving them one block extra space. I don't know why. It's something with console, I guess. I can't actually test it because I don't have console. So I have built this, which still works, but it is a little bit bigger, and yeah, it's a little bit different. And also you see back here I have a couple, these also need to be solid blocks, as you can see over there. I think slabs might work. It might have to be fully solid blocks, but yeah, it is one block bigger this way and widthways or whatever. And also you probably only want one button. so that you don't like click on both of them and then it'll desynchronize it and do other things and cause issues. It's probably not a huge deal, but just suggest would have one button. Got a double chest here, all the stuff is going in. And also I have, you can sort of see over here, I have 2 dispensers for the water, and that's just because if you only have one, it'll still work. You can do that if you want to be a little bit cheaper, but the reason I have 2 is just to make sure that it's not like uneven. If you have one on this side, it'll flow that way, and probably all the baby cows will sort of favor that side. And with mobcap, that's an issue, but I don't even know if the console has it. So you could just use one, but I put 2 partially for symmetry. If you have one, you would be able to get rid of this on this side. So this is also showing you can put signs instead of the trapdoors there. Shows all the blocks that need to be solid. It's basically the same, it's just 1 block wider. This, I'm pretty sure, I think it can be, why did I put iron block there? Oh, sorry, let me fix this. So that does need to be a solid block. As for this, I'm pretty sure this can be a slab, and I'm going to test it real quick. So if we were to put slabs here, which might be pretty handy, and we press this button, you can see both of them dispensed. Yeah, that's what I thought. So this doesn't have to be a solid block. It just needs to be something that the redstone will be placed on top of, like a slab. And so that's all of that, really. I'm pretty sure, yep, we've already discussed most of that. This is another design for console. It's actually 1 block smaller. This will work. This will work in normal Minecraft, Java edition of Minecraft, if you want it to be 1 block smaller. The only downside is you have 1 chamber right here. And since you only have 1 chamber, if you breed your cows like as soon as possible all the time, they'll start to collect and mobcap might start killing a few of them. So 2 chambers is usually better for that. That's why I have 2 chambers. Also, I put a sign there that can still be a trapdoor, but basically the only difference with this is we have a piston right here. And this is because in some console editions, they've had issues with the baby cows still getting stuck with the parents, where they won't walk off to the sides or something, or their hitbox is a different size. So what people have done, and has worked, is they'll put a piston, which will just push the baby cows over. So if I were to get an egg and spawn a few baby cows, so a few, let's see, 1 is fallen, but there's some that are stuck. If I do the piston, all the baby cows will be pushed off. So this is 1 block smaller, and it still works in Java edition. One thing I will mention is that if you have the water dispensed, you don't want to push the piston, or else it will erase the water, and then you have this dispenser broken that you'll have to fix. Let's see, we got an empty bucket here. So that is one thing to keep in mind, but everything else is basically the same. It's just almost half the size of everything. So I will get tutorials for like all of these at the very end, so you can stick around for those if you want to see how to build this and you don't want to just go based off of what you see. But if you can, then yeah, go ahead, go for it. This is another thing. You can use this for pigs. You may be able to use it for chickens. I didn't even test that because it's really not efficient for chickens. There's lots of better designs. It doesn't seem to work for sheep because sheep have lower health, and I couldn't really think of anything else I could test it on. But it does work for pigs. Now I replaced the trapdoors up here with slabs. I think trapdoors still seem to work. You can't put signs there though. Signs will not work. You need at least trapdoors or slabs. And so you can use trapdoors if you want to use the fill up breeding method or whatever. And also you have to have trapdoors down here. So you can't have signs instead of the trapdoors for the pig design. Let me point out the differences. So the differences are you can't have a slab in the middle here. It has to be a full block, or you could use like an enchanting table or maybe even an anvil, which are very expensive, and you would be able to sort of slice your sword. Oops. Nope. Whew, I forgot I'm in creative mode. You could hit your sword through if you have an enchanting table there, but if you have a slab, the baby cows can get out. And so this also has the feature where it will only kill the adult pigs and not the baby pigs. But pigs have a lot more health than cows apparently, and so you need a wooden button, and even then it still takes a while. But all their stuff goes into here, and the baby cows or baby pigs will be fine. So only differences are you have to have at least trapdoors in those 4 corners. I would suggest slabs in the top 2 corners. You can't have a slab in this middle area. You have to have either just a full block, or you can use a chaining table or anvil, and you have to use a wooden button, just to summarize everything, make everything clear. And also, obviously, you can do the same thing for the console edition. So it's basically the same, just 1 block wider, wooden button, unless... I can't test console edition, so the console stuff is just sort of based off what people have told me in some comments. But full blocks here, so the baby pigs can't get out. Wooden button, unless console is different about the pig's health, and then slabs, unless hitboxes are different. So this might work. It may work, but it might not work. But just thought I'd throw that in there. That's basically all the complicated stuff. These are just a few tips which I could have shown in the last video, and they're not like necessary for the design. But this is like, if you have the top of your breeder here, if you fall in it, then you have to break a block, and you can let some of your breeder cows, breeder pigs get out. So this is an easy way to keep yourself from falling in. Is just put a trapdoor, or not a trapdoor, a fence post 1 block above the hole. So this is... let me just grab these real quick. So you can use a half slab or a fence post, and if you go here, what you want to do is you want to just put a block there and then put your fence post on top. Or the slab also works. Fence post is a little easier to walk around, but slab gives the cows a little more space to jump up, so you place 2 blocks there and put it on the top half of the block, and you can still see fairly easily down into the hole, and you can breed them, and the cows will not hit their heads on this at all. They will hit their heads a little bit on the fence post, but fence post is usually the easiest and the way that most people will use for cow farms and stuff. So that's just one tip. Another tip is how a lot of people have had problems getting cows into the farm itself, and so I just sort of thought I'd show you how I would do that. So what you want to do is you want to get some scaffold blocks to make a staircase. I'm doing a terrible job because I'm lagging. So you just get some blocks like that so that they can easily walk up. You want to get rid of the button for a second. And you just want to make some walls so that the cows have to go down through this way. So now if I get my wheat, cows will follow me. I can go over here. I might be able to do this. Oh, nope, they're not going to follow me because it's an open hole. Let me, hold on, rethinking strategy. So you want to get the cows up here. Let me break these blocks so they're up here. Come on. Come on, cows. Jump up. Jump. Let me try this. You want to get the cows up on the same level. One fell off, and you want to just sort of push them into this sort of hallway. This looks a lot harder when I try to do it on camera, and they will just sort of fall straight into the hole. You don't have to like maneuver them around. One other tip is if you hold F3 and press B, at least in Java Edition, you can see their hitboxes. So if you can see their hitboxes, it's a lot easier to line everything up and get them in there. But if you have the hallway, it just sort of simplifies that. So push this one in, and then once it gets in there, it'll just fall in super easily. You break all your scaffold blocks, you can put your button back, and then you can break all this scaffold block and stuff. Having difficulty talking, and now you got your cows in there. I'm going to turn off hitboxes and get this out of my inventory. So now you got your cows in there, and then you can get your levers. Obviously, you can put them in there. You only need 2, which is nice, and then you can just breed them. And now, after only 2 cows, which is a lot easier to get 2 cows in there than 20, you just breed them up until it's all filled up and stuff. So that's how you get them in, or the easiest way to get them in there. is just to build a little hallway and just sort of push them through. If you have the console version, this one, which has a 2-block wide gap, it's actually a lot easier. Another thing you could do is if you were to get some trapdoors, you could put a trapdoor in that block, trapdoor in that block, and they'll see these as full blocks. And when you get your hallway in here, I can't really show it, but they're gonna walk through, they're gonna think these are full blocks as if they were closed, and so you can lead them with wheat, or if it's pigs, carrots. You lead them through and they're gonna follow you, and they're just gonna fall in there because they think it's a full block. But yeah, so that's how you can do it with the console. That's even easier. Just thought I'd point that out. And so now we're gonna get on the tutorial part, and I thought I would just go ahead and show you how to build the original cow farm. I'm gonna build the one for Java Edition in 1.13. Even though I'd already made a video on it, I just thought I'd make it again just to clarify a few things, you know, once and for all. So what you're gonna need is you're gonna need this sort of shape here. You just want to put down your floor of whatever block you want, and then you just want to break out like a T shape like that. And you want to go and get a chest and some hoppers. Put your chest down here and 3 hoppers out the back, 1 going into the chest, 2 going into the hopper that goes into the chest. And then what you want to do is you want to build another wall going all the way around. You want to leave this front wall empty. You want to get a slab, or if you don't want a slab, you can just put a full block there, so that's up to you. And then you want to get your trapdoors. Put trapdoor there, that's that layer. Next layer, you want to get a couple blocks going around like this, and these 2 blocks here, they need to be full blocks. I'm going to break those for just right now, and I'm going to get an observer. You want to have it facing this way, so it's detecting this block and putting out a signal into this solid block, which will activate this. Did I get a dispenser? No, I got a dropper. Oops. Into this dispenser. And then you want to get the same thing on this side, which goes into a solid block, into a dispenser, and then you want to get a piece of redstone and place it right in between, and now they activate. This block right here needs to be a solid block. You can use just a normal block, your normal building block, or what I like is I like to use a furnace for a few reasons. It kind of looks nice. I like the look of it. Sort of matches with this sort of stripe going around the edge. And if we were to get, let me clear my inventory a little bit. If we were to get a stone button, which again, it needs to be stone. If you have a wooden button, it will not work. So you need stone. Wooden button pulses too long. And also you want to put your lava in there. But if you use a furnace, a couple advantages is you can store stuff in here. So you can pretty much store anything in there. I've stored a few times, I've just put wheat in there. But also if you use this slab to hit your cows with the sword through there, obviously you will get raw meat unless you have the fire aspect enchantment on your sword. So you gotta put your raw meat, and this furnace is just an easy way to cook them up immediately after you've killed your cows. Continuing on, you want to put another layer of blocks going around the sides, sort of same sort of I don't know what you call this, like U pattern, leaving the front empty except for this middle block here, which you want to put another dispenser right in that area. And then you want to get a temporary block there for just now. Get your trapdoor, place them on the side of this block. Oops, top half of the block, not the bottom half. I did see someone get a little confused with that. Break that block, and you can see when you close them, it'll close in on here. When they're open, they'll have space for the baby cows to drop through. I want to mention again, those can be replaced with signs, just to make sure you know. But continue on, we're gonna put a bunch more blocks going around the top like this while leaving this middle hole empty. And you can put a button here. It could be a stone button, but I just use a wooden button just because it's kind of easy to see against the stone. That's the only reason. That can be wooden or stone or anything. You can put a lever if you want, anything that will power that. That's not important. But this button here definitely needs to be stone for cows. The last thing you want to do is you want to just get a little bit of some glass one of the last things. You want to get a little bit of some glass and put them around the edge. You want to get your lava buckets and water buckets. You'll need 2 lava buckets. The 2 lava buckets will go in these side dispensers. I've never had anybody say they've had a problem with that. Make sure not to put 2 lava buckets. If you put 2, it'll just be a waste. It'll work, but it might dispense your empty buckets, and it'll desynchronize it on both sides and stuff. I might actually just show what that would be like. If I were to put 2 lava buckets in there, so it dispenses right, perfectly normal. But you see right there, it just dispensed the second bucket. So now one side has lava, the other side doesn't. And so what might happen at some point is, yep, I think it happened right there, didn't it? It just dispensed the empty bucket into the lava, and I think it got burned, unless, nope, it actually did save it. So it's just sort of a waste. You only want 1 lava bucket. It can be anywhere in the dispenser. I put it in the middle because I have like OCD. But that is that design. Oh, last thing I wanted to mention for 1.13, again, you want to use a sign. You just want to put it, hold shift, place it onto this dispenser, and when you activate the dispenser, it will waterlog it. So now all that's left is to put your cows in there, start breeding them up. You can get your levers and activate these trapdoors just like that to breed up your cows. And also, if you want an easy way to get up, you can just get some ladders and you can put them up the side like that, so you can easily climb up there. And last thing, I'm including everything in this tutorial. You can also put a fence post 1 block above the hole, so you can see here, so that you don't fall in. So that is everything in a tutorial that works for 1.13, and hopefully no one should have issues with that. Now, if you're in console edition, you probably want to use this design. I'd suggest making these designs in a test world to make sure it works for whatever you're in, because I'm not 100% sure about this. People have told me that they've done this and it's worked. I can't actually test it myself, so I'm going based off of that. So you definitely want to test if you're not in like Java edition. And also, the earliest this design will work is, I think, 1.11. Maybe a few versions earlier if you modify it a little bit, but you need observers and trapdoors to be able to sort of just hang in midair. So, and also 1.13 for the sign. If you're before 1.13, just get rid of that sign and it'll still work. Whew. A lot of stuff to say. Now we're going to go on to the console edition. This is basically the same, but I thought I'd clarify. You're going to need a little bit more stuff for this. So you're just going to have 2 hoppers. They just need to end up leading to the chest and hook up the other hoppers into that. You can always just test each hopper, make sure they all go into the chest and everything. Next thing you want to do is you want to make your shape going around the side like that. You want to get your slab and put the slab in the middle, and then you want to get your trapdoor, put the trapdoors on either side. Then what you want to do is you want to put a couple blocks around the edge right here. You want to get your dispensers and observers and stuff. You'll put your dispenser there, put an observer facing this direction, solid block behind the observer, and then right here you're going to have 2 blocks of space. I'll show you what to do there. Just do the same thing on this side real quick. Put your dispenser, solid block, detecting this area here, and you just want to put 2 pieces of redstone. And it's basically just expanding it by 1 block. It's pretty simple. Put your furnaces or whatever here. You can put 2 stone buttons, but I just suggest 1. Make sure it's stone, again, if you're going to use cows, because the cows will just burn up and die if you put a wooden button. Pulse is too long. Whew. Alright, next layer, you want to put blocks all the way around, except for these middle 2 blocks. Why did I put glass? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but whatever. Then you want to put 2 dispensers here. You can put 1, it will still work, but as I mentioned, it will flow to one side, which will offset things a little bit and might make things a little messy with the cows. You want to get your 2 temporary blocks. You can test, make sure they're facing the right direction. Top half of the block, trapdoors need to be on the top half of the block, and they need to close in like that. Whew. Yep, that's that layer. Next layer. My voice is getting tired already. You want to put a bunch of blocks all the way around, except for 2 blocks in the middle right here. You want to get a button here. It can be stone, it can be wooden. I use wooden because it's easy to see, like I said. And you want to get 2 blocks going down along the side. If you only use 1 dispenser, you can just use the 1 dispenser. But if you have 2, you're going to need this back here, or else it'll sort of like what's it called? Bud power, like this second dispenser a little bit. It's kind of weird how that works. And so you definitely need this redstone back here. Also, I want to mention, I don't know if console edition has the waterlogging, but you can put signs here and it will still dispense and go, and like this will work, and I think this will work in Java edition. It's just because there's 2 blocks of space, you might get some baby cows stuck up there. And that is the only downside, but I don't know, console edition is different, and at least this works. Then you want to put your glass going around the sides like this. Then you also want to put in your lava buckets, which I got rid of them. Didn't mean to do that. Lava bucket and water bucket. 2 lava buckets on either side. Then you need 2 water buckets and these 2 top dispensers. Unless you only have 1. Again, I just want to mention that again. And then you can also, again, you can put fence posts up here, and this will also keep you from falling in. If we press this button, you can see both dispensers activate. The water is dispensed. We press this button, you can see the lava activates and dispenses. Last design, I think I did everything other than, again, you can put ladders going up, easy way to get up. Yep, simple. Also, you can use the trapdoors on the sides, unless you replace it with signs. You can trap your cows in there to keep them in there so you can breed them all. Alright, last design. I've been recording for 30 minutes now, and I've basically been non-stop talking, so this is just basically the same thing, just cutting off like one side. You want to have a hopper going into the chest, and this is actually cheaper. And if you want something small, it doesn't work quite as well as I mentioned, but this will work in Java edition, and it might be better for some people's designs if they want. And so you can use this. So it's only 2 hoppers instead of 3, which is nice. Going into your chest here, you can also have a double chest if you really want to, if you want to be like symmetrical. And then what you want to do is you want to get your slab and put your slab here. Let me clear out my inventory some. And you want to get your trapdoor or sign and put that right there. And then you want to get some more blocks, solid blocks on that side. Oh wait, except for on this side, you want to get rid of these blocks for a second. You want to get your observer, put your observer there. You want to get a dispenser. Put your dispenser there, solid block behind here. Observer needs to be detecting this block right here. Then you put your redstone, you hear that click, that means it's working. Then you put your furnace right here like normal, and a stone button. Not wooden, stone. I really want to clarify that, because that has been the biggest issue that people have had with my design. Going on, you want to do another layer, just blocks except for this one right here. You want to have a dispenser. Temporary block here, you can put a trapdoor there, or you can use a sign, but trapdoor works just as well, so I'm going to use a trapdoor. Then what you want to do is you want to fill in all the blocks on the top except for this one block here. You want to put your button right on top of this dispenser. It can be wooden, it can be stone. Put your water in there. You only need 1 lava bucket for this design. Put your lava in there, and then you get your glass, and you just place your glass around the side like this, and you press this button, lava dispenses. Press this button, water dispenses. I almost forgot though, right here you need, this is sort of the key thing about this design, you need a piston. Piston goes right there, button goes right there, wooden button, stone button, doesn't matter. Press the button, it'll push any baby cows that are standing right here off and to the side. Now for pigs, I think for pigs you will probably want this could work for pigs, I'm pretty sure, and you want to put a slab there, because otherwise I think the adult pigs. Let me test it real quick. I didn't think about testing this before. We get a couple adult pigs, then we get a couple baby pigs. Press the button. Baby pigs get pushed off to the side. Oh, I forgot. Obviously, that can't be a slab. Baby pigs get pushed off to the side. Adult pigs stay there. But if we were to have a trapdoor, I have a feeling... Okay, trapdoor works too. So, yeah. Alright, so now we got a bunch of baby pigs running around, but that's how you build that design. I think, yep, we got the lava in there. You can get your ladders, again, for an easy way to climb up here, and also you can, again, you can put a fence post 1 block above the hole, just like that. Whoo! And I think we are through with this video. I will also mention, obviously, if you have a trapdoor, as long as it's facing in the right direction. Can you guys move, please? Thank you. Put that there. Trapdoor, just like that. We activate this lever. Yep, it'll trap any animals in there. We got a bunch of pigs running out, but whatever. Trap all animals in there so you can breed them up. And this works pretty well. This will work for console edition if you're having issues with the babies getting stuck in there with the parents. Even with like if you have the 2-block design, this won't work. If you have the 1-block design and your baby cows are getting, or babies, whether the pigs or cows, are getting stuck in there still, just use this 3rd design down here. If you have this, it sadly won't work. But I don't know. That's the issues. I can't test these things. So I tried to cover everything I could in this video, and man, there is a whole lot to cover. I haven't made this video. The reason I haven't made this video until now is because of a few things. One, I wasn't sure if I knew about all the problems, and so as time has gone on, more people have commented with sort of new problems, and so then I would have to make another video to cover that or whatever. And also at the start, the only problem I knew of that people were really having was this one button, which that's not a good example. One button where people put a wooden button instead of stone one to be sort of, just cheaper, and it will just sort of break the whole design for cows at least. And so I didn't really want to make an entire video for that, plus I didn't know if there'd be more problems. Now there might be more problems after this. If a new update to Java Edition or anything like that comes out that breaks my design, I might make a video on that. But if you have a new problem, feel free to check the description, see if I've put a link to maybe a new video that solves more problems. Or maybe there's a couple solutions I have put down in the description, like frequently asked questions. Or you can check the comment section, see if anybody else has had the same issue. See if I've left any comment down there with some frequently asked questions or anything like that. Or if you don't find a solution to your problem in any of those places, you can leave a comment and I will answer as soon as I see it, and I'll try to help you out with the problem. So anyways, that's the end of this video. Hopefully this has solved your problem if you've been having one. Whew, there was a whole lot to talk about. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cow farms built here. Not really 14 or 15. So 13 cow farms. That's a lot of cow farms. This took me quite a while to set up too. Hopefully this video helped. Hopefully you enjoyed this video or anything like that. If you enjoyed the video, then leave a like. Subscribe to see more videos like this and other kinds of videos, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Spanish chair.